Imagine a man running through the quiet streets of dawn, judged for the crime of existing. Now picture those streets turning against him, neighbors, strangers, the law, until one heartbeat changes everything. What happens when that man becomes the hero they never saw coming? This is the story of Dr. Isaiah Coleman, a black surgeon whose courage shattered a town's biases and revealed a secret that shook their foundations. Stick with us. It's a journey that'll grip your soul. It was 5:17 a.m. in Oak Ridge, a sleepy suburb of Portland, Oregon, cloaked in pre-dawn mist. Isaiah Coleman, 41, sliced through the stillness, his running shoes pounding the asphalt. Sweat soaked his navy hoodie, his breath clouding in the crisp air. A trauma surgeon at Providence Hospital, Isaiah was a man of discipline. Husband to Amara, father to 10-year-old Zoe and 7-year-old Malik. His 7-mile run was his sanctuary, a ritual to shed the weight of 18-hour shifts and lives he'd fought to save. 4 weeks ago, Isaiah's family had moved to Oak Ridge for its quiet streets and good schools. Amara, a high school counselor, saw a fresh start. Isaiah saw a chance to breathe. But he felt the undercurrents, sidelong glances at the coffee shop, clipped nods from neighbors, the way mothers clutched their kids tighter when he passed. He'd lived this script before. The black man in a nice neighborhood, always one wrong move from being a suspect. "Give it time," Amara had said, her voice warm but firm. Isaiah hoped she was right, but deep down he braced for the storm. The memory of another dawn years ago flickered in his mind as he ran, a dawn that had changed him forever. He'd been a med student in Chicago, jogging through a quiet neighborhood much like this one, when a cop had stopped him, hand on his holster, demanding ID. "You don't look like you belong here," the officer had said, his words a blade. Isaiah had complied, heart pounding, but the humiliation burned. That day, he'd vowed to never let fear silence him, to prove his worth through his actions, not his explanations. Now in Oak Ridge, he felt that same weight, but he ran on, refusing to let it break him. As he rounded Cedar Avenue, headlights pierced the fog, pinning him like a deer in a hunter's scope. A black pickup truck crawled closer. The window rolled down, and a voice cut through rough as gravel. "Hey, what are you doing out here?" Isaiah slowed, tugging out his earbuds. Paul Dempsey, mid-50s, grizzled beard, leaned out, eyes narrowed. "I'm talking to you," Paul barked, his gaze raking over Isaiah's hoodie, dark skin, sweat. "You don't look like you belong." "I'm running," Isaiah said, voice steady, a coal of anger smoldering in his gut. "I live here." "On Birch Lane," Paul scoffed. "Live here? Since when?" He sized Isaiah up like a crime scene. Isaiah pointed north. "Gray house, green shutters, moved in a month ago." His words were measured, but Paul's eyes screamed disbelief. "We've had vandalism," Paul growled, thumb on his phone. "You got ID?" Isaiah's chest burned, the memory of that Chicago dawn flashing hotter. "I'm jogging," he said, sharper hand spread. "No wallet." Paul's voice dropped, menacing. "Real convenient. You expect me to believe you're just running at this hour dressed like that?" "Dressed like what?" Isaiah shot back, daring Paul to say it. "You know what I mean," Paul said, unflinching. "Nobody's out here at 5 a.m. unless they're trouble. Tell me who you really are." Isaiah stood frozen, the weight of countless similar moments pressing down. "Isaiah Coleman, surgeon at Providence. I'm your neighbor." Paul's lip curled, already dialing. "Neighbor? Bulletin. We'll let the cops sort this." The street seemed to shrink, the fog thicker. Isaiah's hands flexed, his mind racing. He could run, but Paul's glare, "You don't belong," rooted him. A white SUV screeched to a halt. Karen Voss, late 40s, blonde hair and a messy bun, stormed out. "Paul, what's going on?" Her eyes locked onto Isaiah, sharp as a hawk's. "This guy says he lives here," Paul said, jabbing a finger. "No ID. You know him?" Karen's smile was cold. "No," she said, voice dripping with false calm. "Sir, we don't see strangers this early. You get why that's a red flag, right? Where do you live?" Isaiah held his ground, voice like iron. "Isaiah Coleman, surgeon. My house is on Birch Lane. My wife's up getting the kids ready. We've been here 4 weeks." Karen's smile wavered. "A surgeon?" she echoed, the word not sticking. She glanced at Paul, muttering into his phone. "Cedar Avenue." Guy in a hoodie, acting cagey. Isaiah's chest burned. "You're making a mistake," he said, eyes darting between them. "I'm not your enemy." Karen's tone was patronizing. "We're not saying you're anything, but you have to see how this looks. No ID. Out here alone." "Suspicious?" Isaiah snapped, his calm fracturing. "What's suspicious is you treating me like a criminal for breathing. I gave you my name, my address. What more do you want?" Paul stepped closer, voice a growl. "Watch it. I'm not letting some random guy roam my streets." Isaiah's eyes blazed. "I'm not anybody. I'm Isaiah Coleman, and you're about to regret this." Neighbors emerged, drawn by the noise, bathrobes flapping, porch lights on. Whispers slithered. "What's happening?" "Who's that guy?" Paul spoke to dispatch. "Need an officer." Guy's uncooperative. "No ID." Karen nodded, her face a mask of fear. Isaiah stood alone, the streetlights casting jagged shadows, each second an eternity. A cry shattered the tension. A boy, 8, stumbled from Karen's SUV, clutching his chest, face pale. "Mom, it hurts!" he gasped, knees buckling. Karen screamed, "Evan!" "Oh God, Evan!" Evan collapsed, his body crumpling. Isaiah dropped to his knees, catching Evan. "He's in cardiac distress," he shouted, fingers on Evan's wrist. Pulse erratic, skin clammy. A time bomb. "Call 911 now," Karen wailed, her phone slipping. "Evan, no!" Paul froze, his bravado evaporating. The crowd swelled, some shouting, others whispering, "What's he doing?" "Don't let him near him." Isaiah's focus was laser tight. He tilted Evan's head, checked his airway, loosened his jacket. "Evan, can you hear me?" he urged, heart racing. No response, just a wheeze. He turned to Karen. "Does he have a heart condition? Talk to me." Karen shook her head, sobbing. "No, he's healthy." Isaiah's jaw clenched. "Did you call the ambulance?" Karen nodded, fumbling with her phone. Blue and red lights flashed. A police cruiser. Officer Ryan Tate, early 30s, leapt out, hand on his holster. "Step back! Hands up!" Isaiah didn't flinch, monitoring Evan's pulse. "I'm a surgeon. He's in cardiac arrest. I'm saving him." Tate advanced, shouting, "Move or you're done!" Phones were out, red dots blinking. Isaiah met Tate's glare. "You stop me. He dies. Ask his mother." Karen screamed, "He's helping him. Don't shoot!" Tate held back, radio spitting static. The ambulance roared in, medics swarming. Isaiah rattled off vitals. Pulse 160, irregular, unresponsive, possible arrhythmia. They loaded Evan onto a stretcher, Karen scrambling in beside him, a wreck of tears. The street fell silent, only the hum of the ambulance fading. Isaiah stood, wiping sweat, chest heaving. Paul staggered forward, voice hoarse. You saved him." Isaiah turned, eyes burning. "I did my job. You tried to destroy me." Tate tried again. "So, you're a doctor?" Isaiah pulled off his hoodie, gaze cutting glass. "Isaiah Coleman, trauma surgeon, Providence. Been here a month." Tate retreated to his radio, but Isaiah wasn't done. He faced the crowd, some ashamed, others filming. "What's it gonna take?" he thundered raw. "I live here, I save your kid, and you still see a criminal. Why, my skin? Or because you're too afraid to question your hate?" Silence choked the street. A woman stammered, "We didn't know." Isaiah cut her off, voice ablade. "You didn't know because you didn't want to. You called the cops because I'm black and alive. You nearly let a boy die because your fear blinded you." Paul's head dropped, hands shaking. "Isaiah, I screwed up. I'm sorry." Isaiah didn't respond, his gaze sweeping the crowd. "Sorry doesn't erase being treated like garbage," he said, heavy as stone. "I'm your neighbor. My family's here. Next time you see me, don't make my existence a crime." He jogged off, leaving Oak Ridge to stew in its shame. Amara was in the kitchen, oatmeal simmering, when he burst in, drenched, face etched with exhaustion. "Isaiah, what happened?" He sank into a chair, voice rough. "Neighbors thought I was a thief, called the cops. Then a kid went down. I brought him back." Amara's eyes flashed. "They dared?" He raised a hand, weary. "They're apologizing now, but I'm done." She wrapped him in a fierce embrace, whispering, "You're stronger than their ignorance." He leaned into her, the tempest in his chest calming, but the weight of the morning lingered, a heavy stone in his gut. "Amara," he said, voice low, "I thought I'd left this behind. In Chicago, I swore I'd never let them make me feel small again. But today, it was like I was back there." Amara pulled back, her eyes searching his. "You're not that med student anymore," she said, her voice steady. "You're a surgeon, a father, a man who just saved a life. They can't take that from you." She squeezed his hand, her warmth a lifeline. "We'll get through this, together." Isaiah nodded, but the exhaustion in his bones spoke louder than words. He thought of Zoe and Malik, still asleep upstairs, blissfully unaware of the storm their father had faced. He'd moved here for them, to give them a life free of the shadows he'd known, but those shadows had followed him, and he wondered if they ever truly left. By mid-morning, Oak Ridge was alight. Next-door posts exploded. "New guy's a hero." "Saved Evan Voss." "Paul's an idiot." Isaiah ignored it, back at Providence, stitching a laceration, then checking on Evan in the ICU, stable, congenital heart defect, diagnosed in time. Karen, eyes swollen, leapt up. "Dr. Coleman, you saved my son. I can't ever repay you." He nodded, professional. "Follow the cardiologist's plan. He'll be okay." Karen's voice broke. "I was horrible. I'm so sorry. I almost lost him, and I judged you." Isaiah's gaze softened, but firm. "Make it stop here." She nodded, tears spilling. That afternoon, a bombshell dropped. Evan wasn't just Karen's son. He was the grandson of Margaret Voss, the HOA president who'd campaigned against outsiders moving in. Margaret called an emergency meeting that evening, the community hall packed. She stood at the podium, voice trembling. "I was wrong. Dr. Coleman saved my grandson. I'm sorry, to him, to all of you, for my fear." She turned to Isaiah, who'd been invited. "Thank you." The room erupted. Some clapped, others whispered, a few walked out. Isaiah stood, voice steady. "I didn't come for applause. I came for my family. Let's build something better." He left, the weight of their stares lighter. The days that followed showed the ripple effects of that night. Mrs. Larson, who'd whispered in the crowd that morning, knocked on Isaiah's door with a hesitant smile, her 2 kids in tow. "Dr. Coleman, I was wondering if Zoe and Malik might want to play with my girls. We're having a little backyard picnic." Isaiah studied her, then nodded, calling the kids. Zoe's eyes lit up as she grabbed her sketchbook. Malik already kicking a soccer ball with Mrs. Larson's son. For the first time, Isaiah saw a glimpse of the Oak Ridge Amara had dreamed of, a place where his kids could just be kids. At school, the story spread like wildfire. Zoe came home one day, her face glowing. "Dad, my teacher said you're a hero. She told the whole class about Evan." Malik chimed in, "And my friends want you to come to our soccer game. They said you're cooler than Spider-Man." Isaiah laughed, the sound a rare release, ruffling their hair. "I'm no Spider-Man, but I'll be at that game, kiddo." Karen, too, began to change. A week later, she signed up for one of Amara's community workshops on implicit bias, sitting in the back with a notebook, her face a mix of shame and determination. After the session, she approached Amara, voice quiet. "I judged your husband before I knew him. I don't want to be that person anymore. Evan's alive because of him, and I owe you both more than I can say." Amara nodded, her smile gentle but firm. "It starts with seeing people, Karen, really seeing them." That night, a basket sat on Isaiah's porch, brownies, a note. "Dr. Coleman, we're sorry. Welcome. Paul and Linda Dempsey." Amara smirked. "Damage control." Isaiah grabbed the brownies, a faint smile breaking. "Zoe and Malik will devour these." Weeks passed, Oak Ridge softening. Neighbors nodded during his runs, some offering shy waves. Paul appeared one evening, coffee in hand, face flushed. "Isaiah, can we talk?" Isaiah leaned on the porch, guarded. "What's left to say?" Paul exhaled. "I was wrong. A few years back, my shop got robbed. I've been scared of strangers ever since, but that's no excuse. I didn't see you, just my fear. Help me fix it." Isaiah studied him, then nodded. "Show up. Coffee's on me." They sat, words cautious. Isaiah sipped, voice even. "That's your failure, not mine. I paid the price." Paul nodded. No excuses. It wasn't friendship, but it was a start. Months later, Oak Ridge wasn't perfect. Stares lingered, whispers persisted. But Isaiah ran unburdened. Zoe shone in art class. Malik ruled the soccer field. At Providence, Isaiah was a force, calm, precise, unbreakable. Evan sent a card, a crayon drawing of Isaiah with a stethoscope, my hero. It hung on the fridge. One dawn, gliding past Cedar Avenue, Isaiah saw Paul walking his dog. Paul raised a hand, quiet. Isaiah nodded, a faint grin breaking free. He didn't need their approval, never had. He'd carved his place, and it was his. Isaiah Coleman was home. This story isn't just about one man. It's about all of us. How do we see each other? How do we change? If Isaiah's fight moved you, share it far and wide. Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories of people who rise against the odds. Let's keep it real. Speak out. Feel deep. Make a difference.